let's talk a little bit about Keir Starmer. You know, scratch away this guy's extremely thin skin, and what you're left with is pretty much a standard issue lefty human rights lawyer, you know, who basically, you know, fights cases against this country. Here he is, this attack on Brize Norton Airport on RAF base on Friday, in which £55 million worth of damage was done to two Air Voyager refuelling jets, £55 million worth of damage. Now, the Prime Minister dismissed this as a disgraceful attack. And then we look back in his own legal history. And when he was still a barrister, he defended a guy called Josh Richards, who was arrested after cutting the fence at RAF Fairford while carrying a can of petrol intended to set fire to Britain's defence fleet of aircraft. Starmer argued in the defence of this character that Richards' action was legal because he was endeavouring to prevent a wider crime, the Iraq War. Two-tier Keir also represented someone called Lindis Percy, who has been arrested over 500 times for breaking into and protesting outside RAF and American air bases. And Keir Starmer went on to feature this woman, Lindis Percy, in his video as part of his campaign to become Labour leader in 2020. So, you know, I asked earlier, whose side are we on? When you look at Keir Starmer's history, you wonder, don't you?
I don't think you have to wonder, actually. I think you know exactly whose side he's on, and it's not the side of the right-thinking people who do not think that anyone should get away with breaking into military bases wherever they are. You know, it's a kind of basic thing, isn't it, that you don't go clambering over fences and breaking into defence installations, or very bad things happen. And this Lindis Percy, as you said, arrested, estimates that she has been arrested more than 500 times. You know, that tells you everything as well about our own legal system that allows someone to keep offending again and again and again and again, and being given access to the smoothest speaking lawyers that present the best possible gloss on what is basically pretty criminal activity.
Exactly right. The Palestine Action Group, the group that were responsible for the attack on Brize Norton, well, they are now facing being prescribed, being made illegal by the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper. She says that will be in place by Thursday. And frankly, I think it's a good idea. I'm torn when I hear about people having their right to protest taken away from them. But this is arguably a time of war. We cannot let little virtue signalling overgrown students like this damage our military equipment. These two planes, Voyager Airbuses, £55 million worth of damage done to them, spraying red paint into their engines. These are very important refuelling aircraft that could become strategically vital should we get drawn into any kind of conflict. These are turbulent, difficult times, tense times, and frankly, any organisation that is going to make its form of protest attacking our military equipment, our defence arsenal, they have to be prescribed. I agree with that. So anyway, there will be banned on Thursday, it looks like. But anyway, they had a last hurrah today. 13 arrests were made in Trafalgar Square, 6 for assaulting emergency workers. One was held on suspicion of a racially aggravated public order offence. They were heard shouting racial abuse towards the protest, and 4 people refused to disperse, and they were arrested as well. So not exactly a peaceful demonstration, but it looks like it could be their last hurrah. They're going to get banned. I think the other good thing about this is they've got 350,000 followers on Instagram. That will have to cease. That will have to get closed down. And we can't ever see a demonstration like this again, because supporting Action Palestine from now on will be illegal, as is Action Palestine. So it's all going on this front.
Why on earth did it take so long? I mean, particularly Londoners, but I'm sure they've been equally active in other cities, are absolutely sick, fed up of these scenes. And, this point I was making on JK's show earlier, why do so many of them hide who they are? The whole point of a public protest is that it's public. And if you're hiding your face, then my suspicion is that that you're up to no good. And being on a public protest is quite literally about standing up and being counted. These people are trying to have it both ways, a kind of a hybrid protest in which, the most militant of them are too cowardly to show us who they are for fear of the consequences.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, a guy who was caught trying to break into an RAF base, a place called Fairford, carrying a can of petrol. He intended to set fire to RAF aeroplanes. It was defended by our Prime Minister, who said he wasn't the Prime Minister then, of course, he was a human rights lawyer. He said that this character, Josh Richards, had every right to do this. It wasn't illegal because he was trying to prevent a much bigger crime, a wider crime, the Iraq War. Now he condemns these people who broke into Brize Norton as disgraceful. And yet what were they trying to do? They were trying to protest and prevent perhaps war in Iran. So what's the difference? In other words, it's our shape-shifting Prime Minister. He'll change on a sixpence. Whatever you want him to be, he will be. If you don't like his opinions, he has other opinions. If you don't like his policies, he's very good at U-turns. This guy, he's a straw man, isn't he? Just bending in the wind.
Well, he's not a man that I think has any great following at all left. And the question is he going to carry on subjecting us all to his weakness for the next 4 years? Are we doomed to this Prime Minister? And all the way until the next election, opinion seems quite divided on that. Some people think it is actually very hard for the Labour Party to get rid of its leaders. That said, there is definite speculation that Angela Rayner is limbering up. No time soon, of course. I think we're stuck with him for a good while yet.
Yeah, I mean, if the intended replacement is Angela Rayner, I mean, with a very heavy heart, I think maybe, and I don't say this lightly, I might prefer to keep Keir Starmer. But, oh my God, what a choice. What a choice. It's like being asked, which disease would you rather die of, isn't it?